Good morning, everybody. It's Connie. It's Friday morning, and I'm just a couple minutes late. Lately, I feel like I've been doing all this mad scrambling right before I go live, which is annoying, I know, because I feel like it's just been like mad dash kind of thing. I can't seem to get my act together. Anyway, today I have a project. First of all, I want to apologize for Wednesday's live because I was on the phone and I looked at the clock and went, oh my gosh, I'm running late, and hung up and then signed right in to do my live. And then I realized I was on my actual Facebook page, Connie Hart. And I'm like, so some of you are friends on Facebook with me and some of you are not. And so a lot of people probably were like, what happened to you on Wednesday? I didn't even see you. Basically, I tried to transfer the video from my page to a group page, and it was like, no, that is not going to work. I've tried everything I could. So what I did was, for my friends who are crafters, I made the video still viewable. And if you can't see it from the link that I posted on Wednesday, let me know and I'll do my best to get you access to it, because I walked through the new Stampin' Up! Catalog. I showed you my new products. I had several things that I wanted to do today, but this is what I chose. So, sorry, I'm drinking my coffee this morning, trying to wake up. My husband's at the racetrack this weekend, and so I actually have some craft time, which is great. I should have had a ton of people over because my videos have been getting long. I obviously have been wanting to chit-chat. Here's my plan for Fridays for a little while, and I'm going to try it through the month of May, and we'll see how it goes. My plan is to show you a card that I am sending to people who order from me. So anyone who orders from me at the Stampin' Up! Site using a host code or not, is going to get a card kit of some kind from me each month. That's what I've decided to do. It seemed like the logical thing. I was kind of thinking I may mix it up a little bit and add a few, like gems and things that some stuff in this catalog is so easy to overlook. They have little hidden things all through it. And so every now and then I may add in something extra, especially if you're somebody who has purchased a lot of product. You will get, if you purchase $150, you will get rewards of about $15. And the higher it goes, the more that adds up. So it's just, if you do that, don't use a host code, please. Get your rewards and enjoy them. But today, I want to show you something that I'm sending to everyone. Let me grab one that I already stamped just to show you. So I've already made up a bunch of kits, and so basically each person who orders is going to get this sheet already stamped with close to my heart images. I can't send Stampin' Up! Stamped images, but I can do close to my heart, and I don't mind keep on doing that. I could use other brands. I have some very fun other branded items, and if I can't send Stampin' Up!, I'll send you something that'll be great. So you'll get some pieces of cardstock that'll make 4 cards. This is just one of the card kits that you'll get if you order this month. I have 2 others. I thought about maybe sending this one and one other. We'll see, but I'm going to show them, through the month. Anyway, yeah, so I've stamped these up for you. and I'll show you what we're going to do with these. You'll get them, and then on that way you'll know on Friday you can refer back and see the cards that I've sent, right? So this time we're going to use this Chasing Sunshine stamp, and some of you may have ordered it from Close to My Heart. Oh, speaking of, oh my God, they go like 90% off at 3 o'clock Mountain Time today. That's incredible. They do not want to have stuff left over very long, do they? This will be totally not, I mean, I'm done with Close to My Heart as far as being a maker, so it's not like I'm getting any commission or anything. Order as you wish. It's probable that shipping will be on the actual retail price because they still have to pay that price to ship it, you know? So shipping may be like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like it would be like if you bought it all at normal prices, but they have a lot of stamp sets still. I am shocked at how many stamp sets they still have. So I'm going to take a look at it too. Anyway, I was kind of looking at that, you know, that paper pack that we had last year that had like, it had spring and summer and fall and winter, and each one kind of had a different sort of theme. Remember the winter one was so popular. This is the summer one, and I'm sorry I don't have a full sheet of it to show you anymore because I have cut it all up and I'm sending it to all of you, right? Anyways, so I took the colors of that paper pack, and they're really pretty. As a matter of fact, I think they're really close to the colors that are going to be in Enjoy the Ride. The only one I added that's a little weird is I have Avocado here, which is a retired color, but I just liked, it's very close to Limeade, to be honest. I don't see that much difference, but Avocado was listed as one of the colors, so I grabbed it. And then I have this Chasing Sunshine stamp pad, or stamp set. So I'm just going to start putting things onto blocks, and while we chat, I have been, this is just weird, but I have been reminiscing just a little bit, and I was going through my all of my stamps and old layouts and stuff and organizing them, and I realized that I can't talk and do this at the same time, obviously. Geez, sorry. So what I did was I was watching Jennifer McGuire. I watch a lot of YouTube, and she was doing an interview with the guy from Hero Arts. I can't remember his name. And then they interviewed Tim Holtz, and Tim Holtz was talking about how he got started. Have any of you guys watched this? It was so fascinating. He was talking about how he got started with Ranger. I'm going to get out some scratch paper here. So he, what's weird about that interview is fascinating. I really hope you guys go back and watch it, because it's like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. I'm just going to start stamping some images while I chat, okay? This is Lemonade. I have my little dog paw. It'll just hold my ink pad in place so it doesn't move too much. Let's see if I have my, okay. So sorry, I'm still prepping a little bit. Get my stamp chamois wet. All right. So anyway, they were talking to Tim Holtz and how he got started. And he was talking about how he worked for Ben Franklin. Remember that? Oh my gosh, that's a blast from the past, isn't it? I used to love that store. Anyway, they were talking, and it reminded me of the very first retreat I ever went on was with Club Scrap, and it was back in the early 2000s, really early, somewhere between 2001, 2003, somewhere in there, Club Scrap hired Tim to teach some classes during their retreat. And me and Stephanie, when you watch this, you'll remember this like it was yesterday, right? Okay, there's my lemonade flowers. Clean that off. Anyway, he taught us, it was before Distress Inks came out. As a matter of fact, he had just, I think I'm going to do some Lagoon as well. Let me look at my cheaty sheet here. What I did was I started with the largest items first, like the largest flower first, and now I'm going to go to this smaller flower, but not the smallest, just the smaller one. Okay. Anyway, so he taught us this page that was so weird. It was all in browns because that's his signature thing, is doing all these brown items. And he did this layout that was really cool. And we used foam core that was black and acid free, which I don't know where the heck they found it. And we cut arches into the foam core so that we could lay an actual like toy kind of train track into the page and glue it into place. And it was so unique and different. Okay, so when I watched that video, I'm like, oh, I have totally got to find that layout and show everybody because it was so unique. And Stephanie and I sat in the like front row. And so we sat there and chatted with him the whole class. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And he's really an amazing person. And it was at the point where I don't think, I don't know. He was still trying to find himself, if that makes sense. Now I'm going to use the leaf, and I'm going to use the olive color. And all I'm trying to do here is fill in. Do you remember, this is like a rerun, but do you remember that page in Christmas I did where we did the border all around, then we cut the paper? That is exactly what we're going to do. And so I want to leave the center white to leave room for message. But around the edge, if you've got like empty space, this is where you're gonna stamp your leaf. And don't worry if you get like little blotches like that. It just, in the scheme of things, it just won't matter, okay? It just won't really show. So anyway, I don't know, that Stephanie, you've got to watch that video. I think it was fascinating. And to hear where he started and how he came from, it just was a blast from the past because I remember him talking about that. I remember him talking about, going on the road, and he was starting to teach classes. That was his gig, was just traveling around and teaching classes and stuff. It was so good. That was such a great show. Okay, flamingo. I'm going to go back to that medium flower again, because now I want to fill in a little space. If you think about this card being cut into 4 pieces. You want each piece to look good. So if you can visualize, you know, like this will be a card front. When you're stamping like this, you know, if you can visualize, okay, this is going to cut like right in the middle here and here. I'm going to have 2 things of pink. You know, maybe you just want a little tiny bit poking out. This one may just have 1. You know, you just kind of have to look and see what will look good. Okay. And maybe you don't want all these colors. You can do anything you want on yours. Now, I'm sending you the one I pre-stamped, but if you're not ordering from me and you want to make this, you know, here, this is just how I did it. Okay, now I think that the piece of that makes this really pop is the red and blue. If you look at the finished one that I did, look at how the red goes, you know, and I love the berries and the red. I left a little space on that on the other one. We'll see how this one turns out. So I have candy apple red. I moved my camera just a little bit closer. It may be a little, I just wanted you to be able to see it better or whatever. So I'm just going to go a little off the page in places and kind of stamp those around the edge. And it doesn't have to be, you know, perfect or whatever, but it's nice to have that pop of red in there. So I'm just gonna put that around. What else have I been doing? I'm trying to think. You know, when Steve goes to the racetrack, it is always like a little nutty around the house because we have been together so long. We're just in a groove with how we run our house. Everything just sort of runs smoothly when 2 of us are doing, when 3 of us really are doing it, because my daughter does her part. But it is really, it is really different having to do everything while he's gone. All right, Bluebird, and I'm using the tiniest flower now. This is a really nice set, and I know it's still available. Getting it 90% off would be amazing. But you'd have to get a lot to make up for the $8.95 minimum shipping. Like, you don't want to just buy one set. You'd know you'd be paying, well, I suppose you'd be paying, you know, for 10% of the regular cost of this plus that $8.95. But this is a good one because it has solid images that do not need colored. It has really bold images, which are good. Like, this would be a great scrapbook page. I mean, think about this around the edge and then have your photos on there. Yeah, this would be great. Okay, now I want that pop of blue. And here I am thinking of the quadrants again, like here's going to be a card front. And so you want some blue on each of the card fronts. And I'm trying to kind of add a little color where I feel like it will make the most sense. So I'm just filling in a little space here and there, and it doesn't matter if you overlap. You're just doing random kind of stuff here. So see, I'm kind of making a triangle of flowers over and over again, but you don't have to. Like, here's one that's sort of floating by itself. Add another one to it. These 3, you know, here's 2. This one could use something. This, and this could use something. I mean, you know, you just kind of add it where you think it's going to look good. The other thing that is an interesting idea, and I didn't do this on anybody's thing, but if you put this little flower upside down on your block, and let's just say you want to do a center on here, you can, you know, pick a color say I'm gonna make the centers in flamingo. I have the wrong side of my stamp on here, right? And I'm gonna stamp that, and look, it makes that kind of that blotch right there. And it would work perfect to blotch into one of those flowers. So let me show you on my scratch paper. This is the bonus of having scratch paper. I didn't ink that up very well, but just for observation. So you have ta-da, isn't that neat? So don't forget the back of stamp. This is really good for like lined images also. So if you have lined images that need colored, and sometimes you can flip a stamp over and use the solid side of it to color it in. This is coming from someone who is extremely lazy about coloring sometimes, not always, but sometimes. It's a lot. All right, so let me grab my trimmer. I'm gonna put some of this away here. I feel like I have too much out on my plate, right? Okay, especially when I want to bring in this big chopper. What I'm gonna do is knock my camera out of place. What I'm gonna do is I am going to cut this in half lengthwise. So it's 8.5, so I want to cut it at 4.25. Make sure it's straight all the way down. And then I'm going to cut it in half at 5.5. Okay? And I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Cut it in half at 5.5. Now, you can use it just like this on your card, and I'm sending you one message that you could use. But I also am sending these pieces that I want you are able to use on your card as like a mat. And so when you take these, look at this and trim it down by 1/4 inch on two sides. So I'm gonna trim this top back to 4, and I'm gonna trim this side, since this one is hanging out just a little bit, to 5.25. And by cutting that 1/4 inch off of two sides, I can use one of these sheets and make a mat, right? And then I'll have this like this. Isn't that fun? So I'm gonna real quick cut these down. I'm gonna do it again. I wanna cut 1/4 inch on a long side and a short side. So look and see which long side you think would look better, which short side would look better, and just cut 1/4 inch there and 1/4 inch there. So there is card 2. And you can pick if you want it on the light or the dark of each piece. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this one. This little pink is just hanging out there, so I'm going to trim that off and trim that back. And then I have another one. And then I have this one, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, I kind of like this side. I'm going to trim this one off. And I'm going to just trim the top. And I really like how that looks. Now, these pattern papers have two sides to them, so you can decide if you want like the blue plaid or if you want the red gingham. You know, you decide what you want. And then you will have for the setup for 4 cards, I'm only sending one message I thought about sending more than one, but Chasing Sunshine is a little bit of a weird message. I thought you could even just flip it over, but you probably have gobs and gobs of messages in your collection, right? Now, the other thing I want to do as an option, you don't have to do it. That's basically the card. I'll probably add a few gems that you can add to it. But one of the things I really want to do, and let me bring my scratch paper back in because I guess I can do it on here. It's so messy, messy, but I want to spatter a little bit. I want you to be able to see it. And you can pick, you know, your spatter color in anything you want. It can be any of the colors of inks. It can be a shimmer pen. You could do it in a yellow or gold shimmer. That would look really nice. Anything. Gosh, what should I use? Let me grab my shimmer brush. Maybe we'll go there. So I have my Lemonade shimmer brush. If there are any shimmer brushes left in the 90% sale, Lemonade is a good color because it's soft. I'm just gonna spatter around the edge a little bit. You cannot even see that. You cannot even see that, but it is there. Trust me, it's there. Let me use a different color just so you can see. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Sapphire is pretty dark. It's dark. Okay, I'm gonna move this one over, but maybe for the blue. And what you want to do is you want to tap it onto something, tap it onto your finger. But if you tap it onto a pencil or a pen, now you can see that. You can see how that kind of spattered. And then when you put your message on, it just adds a little something. The other idea that I thought would be good would be to use like a little bit of a blending pen or a blending tool to do a little background. I really like the idea of using like the green limeade and just kind of going around the edge and kind of filling in the space. You don't want to cover up those yellow flowers too much with green, but where the greenery is, putting a little bit around the edge, it does look nice. And you could even do a little bit around this white edge. Okay, so that's an option also. You can see how that looks, and then, you know, you just pick a background. So there it is with the honey butter, with the blue. It looks really nice with the blue. So there's an option, you know, to use a little blending brush. Or you can just do nothing. The other thing that I like to do, and I like to get out like a black gel pen, and I just make trios of dots around the different flowers, just in different places. And then it just, I don't know, I just like how it looks. The only stamp in the set I really didn't use was this leaf, and on yours I did use it, and I'll show you how I used it. I grabbed my green and I inked it up, but you can see it's pretty bold. So I stamped off, and then I stamped onto the paper, stamped off, and then did like, so a little second generation onto the image. it just adds a little, extra to that center, especially if you're not really sure what message you're going to put in there. This is a great place for some of the birthday messages and things like that. So I really like how these are turning out. And so this is one thing that you will find in your envelope will be these, and that is exactly how I intend for you to put them together. They could be birthday, thank you, thinking of you, whatever you've got in your stash, just make it work, add a little something to it and make it special. The other thing that will be in there is a strip, and my intention for this is just to decorate the inside of the card base on a couple of them. You'll get card bases too, but you know, I just thought when you have your card base, sometimes when you have such a bold card front, it's nice to have something on the inside. And since I had this paper left over, I thought it would look really nice. You can get a little more mileage if you do this vertically, but basically I've got enough to do a couple of cards like this, and then the front. Okay, that's what I have today. Okay, so stamp sale today, Close to My Heart is going out of business. They are liquidating big time today. I have no idea how long it'll take to ship everything, but they are shipping things from April 9th. So a lot of you are waiting for things from like the 9th through the 12th, somewhere in there. And so those will be coming next. And it sounds like there are some days where they didn't have as much in sales. You know, when they brought out all that product, that's when they had all those mega sales. So they go through some days super fast, and then other days take, a while to fill all the orders because there were so many. My orders have started coming in the Craft with Heart boxes. That are the big giant flat boxes. Those are kind of fun to get, and they're kind of nice for storage if you think of a good reason to store stuff in those. If I find that Tim Holtz layout, I am definitely going to show you. I am hunting everywhere. Stephanie, if you find it, please show yours, because I don't think I'm going to find mine. Mine's buried in an album somewhere. I have a lot of albums, so it's going to take me a while to figure out where I use it, because I do not remember using it. So, okay. Have a good day, everybody. And if you want to chat, talk, see what I'm up to today, let me know. I think I'm going to work on a podium book. It's like a mini album, and I'll see how much I get done between taking care of all the critters and doing that. So, have a good day, everybody. Thanks for watching.